sure that they're perfect. That's even better. They're making great changes. They're bringing a lot of life to thousands and thousands of people's lives. Before I begin, before I introduce our beautiful, absolutely accomplished panel of speakers, I'd like to ask you a question. What is the price of great health for you? Or rather, should I say that what price will you put in exchange of great health? Or should I say that what price are you willing to accept for 1 year or 6 months or 3 months of ill health or a lifetime of ill health? I am sure all of you will be laughing at me in front of your computer screens that what is she talking about? But yet, that's exactly what we do in our day-to-day lives. We have become so mechanical in our jobs, in our businesses, in our day-to-day lives that we are constantly exchanging great health, fantastic health, lot of fitness for some amount of time and some amount of money. But do we have a solution? I'm not saying quit your jobs tomorrow, but is there a program? Is there a solution to this entire situation where you can not only live the life the way you want to, but also have great health for yourself and your family? That's a food for thought. And with that food for thought, let me invite our absolutely fantastic panel of speakers. First and foremost, I'd like to invite one lady whom I have looked up on to even before, she marched on this great health journey for herself. She is a tour guide by profession, one of the most passionate people I know for great health. She has been there, she has done that. She has won every possible health challenge that life has thrown at her, maintaining her stature all along. She's vibrant. And I mean, you look at her, she's in the pink of health, touchwood, and she can give any youngster a run for their money as far as great health is concerned. That's Anaita Taraport for you. Please put your hands together for our panelist, my colleague, somebody that I crazily look up to, Anaita, all the way from Mumbai. Good evening, Anaita. You're on mute, Anaita. Yeah, unmute yourself.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. Hi. Good evening, Deepika.
Great. Now, our second panelist is somebody who, at the age of mere 35 years, chose to take retirement. I mean, an absolute sales and marketing guy going for it, chasing numbers, crunching numbers day in and day out, and having absolutely zero background in health and fitness. And voila, almost as if it was overnight, he took the decision to take charge of his and his family's health, decided that my family will never see a doctor in a lifetime. And I think for as long as last 12 years, over a decade that I have known him, he and his family have never ever seen a doctor. That's Mr. Raj Vats, all the way from Gurgaon. Please give him a huge round of applause.
Thank you, Deepika, and thanks for this opportunity.
Welcome, Raj. And finally, the lady who takes charge in every meeting, and even now she's taking care of, pinning everybody so that the speakers are right here in front of you. My healthy competitor, because she helps me. I look up to her for the lifestyle that she has. She was a director at one of the largest information technology company. She's chosen to take a retirement and probably make great health her motto in life. She was working 12 to 16 hours a day, managing 2 kids at home, taking care of her job, taking care of her ailing parents. And yet, because of all this, perhaps was the reason for her to take her own health in charge. And she has done a phenomenal 180-degree turnaround for her health. Why I say she's a healthy competitor? Because she always encourages me, looking at her challenges, looking at where probably she slips up and then again gets back into the program with full zest and energy. She really encourages me to stay the course and stay the path. Please welcome my colleague, Vedavati Shetty from Pune. Good evening, Veda.
Good evening, Deepika. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Awesome. Great to have all three of you. I'll start with Anaita. Anaita, we all know that you've gone through some really, really tough challenges in your life. What has been the role of, a great fitness regime? What has been the role of a great health program, supplements, and essentially Nutrilite? If I look at, if I ask you about your life so far.
Let me just start saying that everyone thinks that they are tough and invincible and nothing can happen to them. So I too thought that way, but I was shocked and confused when I realized that something was wrong, but couldn't figure out what it was. It took us over 2 months and a battery of tests, which didn't come cheap, to finally discover that I had a massive benign tumor growing inside my thoracic cage. Now, this kind of tumor is so rare that there are less than 950 documented cases in the world. And it had to happen to me, right? After identifying the problem, finding the right course of treatment took me and Farooq another 3 years, as we couldn't find the right doctor, as none of them had any idea as to what exactly had to be done. I was extremely fortunate that during this time, we did everything possible to minimize the damage by following healthy practices. After surgery was completed in 2019, I once again went back to my bad habits with wrong advice from many. Lo and behold, the tumor grew once again, and then I realized that I would have to go through this trauma once again. Trust me, the kind of pain that I have gone through and I still go through, I would not wish it on anyone. And yet I managed to keep the medication to the barest minimum. And in less than 2 weeks after surgery, I was on zero medication, not even painkillers. My friend was Nutrilite. I took and continue to take huge amounts of Nutrilite. June 3rd of this year, I was operated once again for an even more complex 8-hour surgery, as the chances of this tumor growing a second time is even more rare. I'm also told that there cannot be a third surgery, as all the options to open and close my thoracic cage are now over. So now I have no option but to follow a good holistic health program like this one. Since I'm taking copious amounts of Nutrilite, my recovery was quick. The pain I will have to live with. So my advice to all of you is that don't assume that nothing will happen to you. Nothing might not happen, but trust me, prevention is always better than cure. Follow this program religiously to reduce the possibility of sickness. I don't know about being a living legend, as Deepika says, but I do know I have a lot to live for. I have a family who loves me and depends on me, and I have friends like all of you who care for me. So that's all I have to say.
Wow, that was absolutely straight from the heart. I think two lines that I will take away with me. One was that, she said, after my first surgery, I took advice from me and went back to the same lifestyle. Oftentimes we do this and we take advice from ourselves mostly. And other than that, we'll probably Google a lot of, queries of our life and concerns of our life, which is an absolute no-no. You need to speak to somebody who's an authority on the subject, who can take the ownership of holding your hand and taking you through the course so that you can reach where you want to. And secondly, I think the last line she said, which something I have grown up with, there is a quote that says that if you love your family, just take care of your own health. If you can do that, I think you are doing everything possible under the sky for yourself and for your family. Now, coming to this young corporate guy, he always, I think most of us in the team, in our group, we look up to him because taking retirement from at the age of 35, I mean, who does that? I mean, you talk of yeah, you do that, Raj. You talk of Gen Z now. Now the kids who are probably graduating are looking at just working, say, about till 30, 35. Back in the days, more than a decade ago, uh, people couldn't even think of taking 1 week of vacation from the corporate sector. So, Raj, my question to you is that coming from a hardcore sales and marketing background with absolutely no history of health and fitness, what was your turning point to become one of the most passionate health enthusiasts that I have known over the last couple of years?
Thank you, Deepika. Thanks for and thanks, Anita, for bringing in that. I mean, uh, I could relive the whole thing. I mean, I know that journey. So, Deepika, great question. And yeah, so I mean, this takes me to because my approach towards health was very simple. If you're in a good corporate, you've got a good insurance package and all those stuff. So why worry about health? When you need it, you should have a good insurance policy. You should have some good connection with the doctor. You should live in a city where the best hospitals are there, and that's it. So this was my approach about health, and trust me, I had never given priority to health. Uh, बचपन से मुझे एक ही चीज सिखाई गई थी कि भगवान ने हर चीज लिख के भेजी है, आपकी किस्मत में हर चीज लिखी है. So maybe यही सोचता था, why worry when it's written in your destiny, so why worry? So this was my approach of health. When I was in my ninth standard, that's when the first time I took my dad for a eye checkup. When I was in my ninth standard, because he had some eye problem, some vision related issues, so I had to go with him. And that's when the checkup was done, doctor said that this is genetic in your family. And by the age 40, 45, most of the males in the family, they would lose their vision by almost 20 to 30%. So this was in Mumbai, somewhere in तारदेव में ये डॉक्टर थे और वहां पे हम गए थे. एंड बाद में जब मैंने ये देखा तो जेन्युइनली मोस्ट ऑफ द मेल्स इन आवर फैमिली लाइक देवर लाइक दैट, लाइक किसी को आई मीन 45 तक सबको प्रॉब्लम होता था. सो मेरे अंदर ही आ गया कि ये तो होना ही है मेरे साथ भी. And my dad was one of the fittest person that I knew, like perfect, right habits, जो मैं तब सोच सकता था, no stress, everything was like fit and fine. मतलब उनको उनका benchmark दिया जाता था कि अरे ये तो एकदम perfect है. 2008 he was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And that was not something very like, I mean, you take it normally, like brain tumor, मतलब सुनने में ही वो लगता है. Now came my theory that, you should have a good insurance, you should know all the good doctors and just go to them. और मैं जहां भी जा रहा था, वो लोग रिपोर्ट देखते थे एंड इट वाज लाइक कि नहीं, कुछ नहीं कर सकते हम. नाउ मोस्टली हमने ये सुना है कि अगर आप किसी भी इलनेस को अर्ली स्टेज पे डायग्नोस कर लो, सो इट इज इजी टू ट्रीट. नाउ दिस इज समथिंग दैट वी फिगर्ड आउट मच बिफोर एनी सिम्टम कुड कम. लाइक वी वर फॉर्चुनेट ऑन दैट एलिमेंट. हमने बहुत जल्दी इसको पिकअप कर लिया था कि समथिंग इज रॉन्ग, एंड व्हेन द टेस्ट वर डन वी फिगर आउट दैट इट्स अ ब्रेन ट्यूमर. और किसी भी डॉक्टर पे, यू नेम एनी डॉक्टर दैट वी वेंट टू, एंड एवरीबडी वुड रेज देयर हैंड कि नहीं, अब कुछ नहीं हो सकता बिकॉज दिस ट्यूमर इज एट द ब्रेन स्टेम. एंड वन ऑफ द डॉक्टर को जब मैंने पूछा कि व्हाट इज द प्रोबेबिलिटी कि दिस कैन हैपन टू मी, तो बोलता हो सकता है, किसी को भी हो सकता है. सो मैंने पूछा था, दिस आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट 2008, दैट व्हाट इज द एक्सपेंस लाइक, अगर सिर्फ चेकअप एंड टेस्ट व्हाट वुड इट कॉस्ट, एंड दे सेड इट विल कॉस्ट समथिंग अराउंड 2 crore rupees. एंड आई ऑल्सो पर्सनली मेट बाबा रामदेव, एंड पर्सनली ये मैंने उनके भी साथ डिस्कस किया था. तो मतलब वी वर रनिंग फ्रॉम एवरीवेयर लाइक. और सबसे बड़ी बात, हमें यही नहीं समझ में आ रही थी ये हुआ क्यों. And that's when, through Farooq, I got connected to a couple of nutritional scientists. I read a couple of books. That's when I understood कि आपकी किस्मत में नहीं लिखा है. It is because of our lifestyle habits that we do. ये उसका नतीजा. And that's the day I chose कि I don't want to die of any of this major illness problem. हमारे घर में 2008 के बाद हेल्थ को अब हम दोबारा, we will take charge of our health. So that became the turning point, and it's no touch wood. It's absolutely by design that we are not registered in Gurgaon in any of the clinics. हमारा नाम नहीं है. And थोड़ा बहुत अगर कुछ होता भी है, तो we look for solution within Nutrilite, and within this, what Anaita rightly said, is the right healthy habits. My second belief came when we were able to reverse a chronic problem for one of a retired naval officer. और तब जब आप ये सारे टेस्टिमनी देखते जाते हो, आपकी बिलीफ बढ़ते जाती है, एंड दैट्स हाउ यू बिलीव. एंड सिंस दैट डे, एंड आई एम 48, मेरे को अभी भी स्पेक्स नहीं लगे हैं. सो आई हैव क्रॉस दैट मार्क ऑफ 45, जहाँ पे डॉक्टर सेड दैट जेनेटिकली सभी के आईसाइट में प्रॉब्लम होएगा. आई हैव क्रॉस दैट 45 का मार्क, 48, एंड इट्स फिट नाउ टिल डेट.
Awesome. And also, Raj is one of the, I think, probably the only 48-year-old who's never dyed his hair, never colored his hair, and he can give a run for money to any of his peers from, from his corporate age. And they still, I know of people who have asked him, कि यार तुम क्या कर रहे हो? तुम तो, you're reversing your age. So there's a phenomenal movie called The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. I think Raj befits that role very well. Yes, Anaita, your laugh says it all. Great. Coming to my healthy competitor, that's Veda. Veda, question for you. Oftentimes, people don't adhere to these diet and lifestyles because of their professional commitments, because of their high pressure jobs, their long working hours. And I've seen you from day one, and I know how crunched you've always been on time for, the work that you do. So what was your mindset when you started, when you were told that amidst all your hectic schedule, this is what you have to do? And what was that one thing that kept you going in this program all these years?
Okay, so yeah, as you mentioned rightly, I was leading a very hectic lifestyle, and I had put on a lot of weight, and I always thought कि अभी पैसे तो कमाना ही है, this is the way it is going to be, because everyone around me is all obese, overweight, having some issue or the other, and all of us are just being in IT. We have a very what do you say, sedentary lifestyle. I was never a very sporty person or anything, and as I actually met Raj after a very very long time, and I happened to meet him and his wife, and being the same age or the same thing, I was like, can't be, you can't be so healthy and fit, and you're still looking young. And also, until then, literally, I never ever thought ki I could be healthy, because I had tried, registered for gyms and, diets and all. But with the lifestyle, it wasn't possible for me to even take time out for myself to go to the gym or to cook, healthy food at home or whatever it is. And that's when I was introduced to this program. And I think the main difference here is that even corporate people with your lifestyle, the program is customized. The experience from our coach, Farooq, makes it easier for us to, and he actually simplifies the whole, solution. It is not either this, nahi to kuch nahi, you have to do everything. It is so practical. I didn't have to follow a particular diet. Otherwise, go to a dietitian. And first things first, every time you look, go to a doctor also, doctor themselves are not fit. And first impression was like, the people who I'm talking to about health and nutrition, they are themselves fit. So that first, it strikes you that you can trust the people. I Raj actually explained to me about nutrition. तब तक मैंने सोचा भी नहीं था, yes, good food and all, but supplementation, why it is required. हाँ, calcium, iron, giving birth to kids, all of that we knew. But, and as I said, right, I never thought that with my hectic lifestyle, it can happen. And during COVID, during the lockdown, Farooq actually came to us with simple solutions which actually helped me even exercise during calls, for example, just at home without really going for a brisk walk. And I didn't have to change my diet. People always say when you're talking about health program, आप कुछ diet prescribe करने वाले हो? No. And that made it easier for me to adapt. And it was smaller steps, It's not just that big bang approach on doing everything, but at the same time, it wasn't just exercise, it wasn't just diet, it was actually smaller bits of everything. So that made it easier, and it is actually simpler for anyone and everyone, whether you have a busy corporate lifestyle, a travel wala lifestyle, you can still adapt to this program and take it ahead. That's what I think
What kept you
made it
going?
possible.
What kept you going? What was that one thing that
Community. That one thing that kept me going was the community, for sure. As you said, na, healthy partner ya jo bhi ho, it's like you can never do it alone. And I think that's what was happening earlier. हम सब कोशिश करते हैं कि अकेले, or even in other communities, because I've heard people joining various forums, even the gym, you have the community, but you're focused only on one thing. और एक community में जो हम reporting कर रहे थे, even when you see others reporting, it's like 2 3 things, okay? वो कर रही है, I'm sure everyone has something or the other going on in their life, right? It's not that I'm the busiest person, or my life is simple, or someone else's is simple. No, everyone's is. So if that person can do, even I can. And we all see that, not everyone is consistent. And yet we could see ki, and it was like encouraging each other. sharing. So I think that one thing was the community and the whole construct of this program about reporting or sharing of plates. If you do that, you can continue. I think that's one thing, biggest thing.
Thank you so much, Veda. I was looking for that cue.
Sorry.
Yeah, go
Can I
ahead.
just add to what Veda has to say?
Yes,
This
please.
bit about the community, it is so important. You have no idea. When we started, we had 100 days. I think Raj, we were all on the same group. So we had 100 days. We had to report every single meal from breakfast to lunch to dinner. You have no idea how much I cribbed at home, in the quiet of my house. That why the hell do we have to do it? But this thing and that thing. But the very fact that we had to report every single meal, we were very mindful of what went into our mouths. Not only that, but we were so careful at what went into our plates because, one odd thing and it would come up with a negative, remark. And that used to irk the hell out of me. And therefore, we got more and more careful and we reported. I mean, we went out, we did everything. It's not like we sat at home and, stopped living a life. But we reported it not once, but I think we did it twice. And I find that reporting, putting the plate up, being, in a group, it's okay to be a silent listener. It's okay to be silent about this and keep doing it quietly on the own. But only when you're sharing in a group as group dynamics, then it holds more weight because then you are not only telling yourself, but you're telling everyone that you are serious about your whole, the whole thing, the whole program and your health. I just wanted to add that to what
Awesome.
Veda had to say.
I wanted you to add that because no matter how much we may lay stress on the importance of sharing meal plates, oftentimes we don't do that. And trust me, 90% of us do not have the commitment to put up the meal plates or forget putting up the meal plates. When you don't put up the meal plates, how honestly are you actually preparing your meal? And you are in this entire community, a part of this program for yourself. This is not a school, this is not a college. You're going to be assessed or evaluated, given marks, and then given a final, how much percentage. Whatever you are doing, you're committing to your own health. So whatever you are not doing is also something that you're falling short of for your own health. So please, please, please share your plates, ladies and gentlemen. I can't lay enough emphasis. We can't lay enough emphasis on that. And like Anita rightly said, it had become so irksome after a point कि दिन में 3 बार डालना पड़ा. And I remember the batch that me and Veda were a part of. We were even putting our, Adwine water that we are having, the Sauf water that we are having. I mean, there was a point that Anita had said that the water is not important. It's okay. As long as you're having something in the morning, it's fine. But what is going on in your mouth? What are you putting into your mouth? What are you eating? Every single bit is important for us to know to guide you better. Great. So looking at your journey, Anita, all along, I will continue to maintain that, yes, you're a living legend. What are your top two key takeaways from this program for any Tom, Dick, Harry, of course, for you? And what do you think any person who joins us, what would be his two key takeaways that he can look out for when he comes onto this community program, this health program?
No, see, my takeaway for this lifestyle change is very simple. Bridge the gap with supplementation and exercise, which is what I say, but I learned it from Farooq, who, is a master at both. So that's what I will say, but I mean, that's it. No need to elaborate. I think all of us who are on this group know about this much, that bridge the gap with supplementation and exercise, something that at least I need to do more of than I do. But it's there. It has to be done. There's no out of it and there's no two ways about it. Fantastic. Supplementation, I swear by. Exercise, I'm a little lax, but it needs to be done. There's no question.
Right. So like Farooq always says, if you don't listen to your body now, your body a couple of years later will make sure that you listen to it.
Exactly.
And yes, we are all, we join hands in taking his vision forward of Har Ghar Healthy, Har Ghar Medicine Free. Coming to Raj. What has been your top two key takeaways from this program that can probably help anybody, give that enough reason to be a part of this community starting tonight itself?
My top two priorities, Deepika, would be very simple. Number one, one thing you realize to value your life in terms of health better if you're a part of this community, right? Because everybody wants to go on the social media, internet today to look for everything. And thanks to the information and the knowledge that I've learned over here, uh, now I can have a healthy discussion even with a doctor. I mean, 2 days back, I met a doctor, and this doctor said that throughout my life I never had green tea, but now I read everywhere green tea is good, so I've started taking green tea. So people tend to take things that they don't even realize that why they are doing. So this is one of the biggest thing take that you will learn. See, why do we tell about Farouk's background, about his sporting career? I mean, in Olympic and all, you just can't do anything and every. I mean, you just can't pick up anything. So, the more you see the internet today, it is full of information, and there is no scientific backed evidence or a research behind what we say. I'll tell you another example. Last night, I got a call from a friend of mine at say around 9:30. भाई मेरा ट्राइग्लिसराइड 800 हो गया, कुछ हेल्प कर दे. एंड द सेकेंड थिंग ही सेड, भाई अभी पार्टी चल रही है, मैं तेरे से कल बात करता हूं. Now, the point that I want to say is, you want to value your health, but at the same time, यार अभी पार्टी चल रही है. So ये जो गैप है, ये आप इस कम्युनिटी में समझोगे, सीखोगे. Because if you don't value your health, couple of months later, health will only become your priority then. फिर उस दिन आपकी हालत वो होगी कि भगवान मेरा सब कुछ ले ले लेकिन हेल्थ मुझे लौटा दे. So this is the first take that I got from here. Because so I don't negotiate with myself now. Ki nahi, I have a sweet tooth, I can't leave that. Are you were never designed like that. You made it. That was your habit you created. So you can change your habit. Second thing which I would like to say to anybody is, now is the time when we need to value this. Our stress levels have gone high, our job security is everything. So is pure mein, if you don't learn why and what you learn from this community, मैं एक छोटे से एग्जांपल से बता देता हूँ. 14 months पहले, one of a known person, he had some cardiac blockage and all those stuff, so 5 स्टंट डले उसको. Now मैंने उसको सिर्फ इतना बोला था कि I'm adding you to this community, just observe what is happening. 13 months ago मैं भी भूल गया उसको ये बोल के. Today I met him after almost 13 months, and I was amazed to see the gentleman has lost 20 kgs, his parameter. So, कई बार तो आप फोकस करके कोई चीज को करते हो. ये सिर्फ मैं एक ऑब्जर्वर का टेस्टिमनी आज आपको बता रहा हूँ, एक ऑब्जर्वर का. So, I mean, I was like amazed to see कि even a person who is not like actively participating, this is the power of this community. So, thanks, Deepika.
Awesome. Fantastic. I think another thing that we hear very often, it's great to have a positive mindset and be positive in life. But the only place you don't want to be positive is your annual health reports. You don't want to be positive on any parameters there. So you need to have the right mindset. Thanks, Raj. And one very important thing that Raj said, and I mean, talking about that gentleman who's lost 20 kgs, it's not just about what you're putting on the social media and what all is going on. You can just be undercovers and still turn around your health and your life 180 degrees apart. And I think most of us on this program, we may not have been that active and not projecting everything on social media, but just sticking to the basic regimen of the community, of sharing meal plates, of taking inputs from Farooq and Anaita, of keeping your fruits separate, of having your dinner early. All of this has led us to have the transformation that we have been extremely happy and proud to have achieved that. Coming to you, Veda, what have been your 2 key takeaways from this program?
Okay, before I go to key takeaways, I think, one thing that the whole social media thing, literally, I've stopped looking at any content with respect to health on the social media because everything has already been researched with scientific, this thing, with the experiences of people, so much of experience with positive inputs on Nutrilite, on holistic health and all of that in this program. And we have awareness sessions. I think those are more than enough because we have literally captured every aspect of health in these 12 to 13 sessions. And if we just listen to this and, we just go on, that should be it. But yes, my two key takeaways as a person who was going through this whole transformation, right, is one is measure every day, whether you are reporting or not. Yes, report, because that's when you will be accountable. That's when, as Anita very rightly said, right? That's when you will actually, be conscious about what you're eating, but at least measure, because that will tell you where you're deviating. Measure your calories, measure your weight, the whole, all your parameters on a daily basis. If not daily, probably alternate, because you will be able to course correct very easily. You're not going to deviate. I've seen people where, even I've seen about myself, right? Now the program is over, yes, transformation, but it's never just one time, it's a journey. And if I do not measure my weight or my calories for, say, a week or probably 10 days, I immediately see that, the graph in the weight is slightly going upper, and I don't want to. But because I'm measuring, so then I come back to measuring on a daily basis, looking at my calories. So that's one thing. Measure definitely. You can't just, rely on your blood test reports that are that you do in your once in a year. I don't think everyone does also annual checkups. You can't just rely on that, right? That's one thing. Second is stay on the community. Raj mentioned that. Stay on the community, whatever may be. It is not, you're never going to give, the best part of this is we are not talking about any quick fixes, because quick fixes don't last. This is a journey, and when you're there as part of the community, okay, you've done one, probably, November batch abhi chal raha hai. The reason why we don't close this WhatsApp group, because it is not a journey of 45 to 50 days. It is beyond that. So stick here. Whether you will have ups and downs, and we have had it, Deepika, we both have had it, right? We have had days where where we won't report at all, and of course, and we've had plateau days. And when you're at plateau, you go mad, boss, chal kya raha hai? Kyun, वजन घट नहीं रहा hai? But when you're sticking on the community, you keep doing it, you get the inputs, you ask questions. We never stopped from asking questions. We never questioned it, but we asked questions, because there was Farooq, there was, we have Farooq, we have Anita, we have Raj, Anu, all of them are there. So, stick on the community, because if you're there, you will learn, you'll keep learning. एक बार वो session attend करके कुछ नहीं समझता है, आज भी I keep learning whenever someone else is presenting. So it's a journey. These two things, measure daily and stick. The association matters tremendously. I think these two things are my biggest takeaways, Deepika.
Words to live by, measure, measure, measure. Somebody like me, trust me when I say this, that in the last 45 years of my life, I may not have gone onto the weighing scale like 41st, 43, 4 times, because that was something I used to dread. I mean, why embarrass yourself? Why get onto it and people asking you? But I might get scolded by Farooq and Anita for this. I am getting on the scale 4 times a day, literally 4 times. And my family is like, एक दिन में कुछ नहीं होगा. So I'm like, no, it's not about that. वो जो खाया मुझे पता चलना चाहिए that, it's not impacting in it. I want to constantly remind myself that I have to stay the course. And like Veda said, plateau, when you have a plateau in this entire program and somebody tells you that it's okay to have a plateau. I've had a plateau which lasted for 3 months. Now, oftentimes, what is our psychology? कि यार जितना program ने effect करना था कर दिया, अब नहीं करेगा. I have hit my rock bottom. But that's the time when you have people like Farooq Anaita, Raj and Anu telling you that why the plateau, what is your body undergoing right now? How is it stabilizing your weight? How will it, again respond to the program? So the community is absolutely important. Okay, now before we wind up, one common question to all of you. Anaita.
Just one thing on the plateau.
Oh.
Farooq always tells us, ki, have you not realized it has not gone up? Aren't you grateful for that? You've done something right, and that's why it's not gone up. Right? I just had to say that, because Farooq always points out to the positive. Yeah.
That was absolutely. Anaita, coming to you, Nutrilite, what it means, what role it has played for you, your key, what's your message on Nutrilite for the community?
Oh gosh, I live on Nutrilite. I live on Nutrilite. It has kept me alive, literally. I'm serious. Even when I was in hospital, Farooq had sneaked in Nutrilite. And as soon as I was allowed to take something by mouth, the first things that went inside was Nutrilite. I take tons of Nutrilite every morning, afternoon, and night. And I'm also very sorry to say that the quality of dietitians, even in well-known hospitals, is really poor. I was told that I could get I don't need supplementation, she said, She said, you can get your protein requirement from the katori of dal and katori of paneer that is being served to me. I actually got into a fight in the hospital with the dietitian, and I finally told her, please go from here. You don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I was that rude. She really didn't know anything. So just trying to tell you that we never go anywhere without our Nutrilite. It comes with us in small pouches or in little things. Even if we go out for a meal, we carry Nutrilite with us in the bag, because Nutrilite is our best friend. That's all I can say. I can't say enough about Nutrilite, but it's something that everybody should take seriously and not just say, "Ek daily liya, oh ho gaya mera Nutrilite." Nahi, nahi. There's a lot of Nutrilite supplementation available to us for every single different thing, and to take all of it, you are assured of good health.
Wow. Thank you, Anahita. Coming to you, Raj, I have seen over the last couple of years that, you have been so rock solid confident about, giving Nutrilite to your son, to your family. I remember your son as, I think, 10 years ago. How old would he be? I think 5 or 6 or 7 years. And as a father, giving supplement to him at that time, and the world was telling you, even the doctors, we had a common doctor in Gurgaon, as we remember. I would not like to name it. What was your mindset? What was your thinking at that point of time, that when the doctor is perhaps saying that maybe or maybe you should not give it, and you were still administering? Where did that thought come from?
Great, good question, Deepika. And I think I'm slightly stupid. So जब भी मुझे कोई कुछ बोलता है, मेरे को समझ में नहीं आता है, तो मैं एक और क्वेश्चन पूछता हूँ, why are you saying that? So, when you ask the second question, why are you saying that? तो जब भी कोई डॉक्टर कुछ बोलता था, तो मेरा second question होता था, why are you saying that? So like when Anu was pregnant, doctor said, oh, इसका कैल्शियम लेवल लो है. तो मैंने इसी मजाक में अनु को बोला, ठीक है, कल से इतना नहीं इतना कैल्शियम कर देते हैं. तो डॉक्टर मेरे को देख के बोलती है, अरे आप कैसे बोल सकते हो? So मैंने व्हाई आई गिव हर न्यूट्रालाइट. तो शी सेड, नहीं, आप कैसे दे सकते हो? So मैं बोला, हैव यू हर्ड ऑफ न्यूट्रालाइट? तो शी सेड, यस. So I said, तो क्या प्रॉब्लम है? And then her reaction was, no, but it's not good. So I said, how much have you studied about it? Now, this was that stupid question which I dared to ask her. I said, how much have you studied about it? नहीं, वो तो मैंने नहीं पढ़ा है, but मैंने सुना है उसके withdrawal symptoms होते हैं. So, how can you trust when a doctor is saying, नहीं, मैंने सुना है. एंड जब वही चीज जब आप आके रिसर्च करते हो, आप जाके उसको स्टडी करते हो, जो द राइट थिंग इज, व्हाई वी आर गंगो ओवर हियर इज नॉट बिकॉज ऑफ न्यूट्रालाइट, बिकॉज ऑफ द रिसर्च वी हैव डन, हेंस वी हैव फाउंड न्यूट्रालाइट टू बी द बेस्ट. So in our family it is very clear. So when again coming back to my dad's story, so जब हमें बताया गया था that whole medical thing would cost us 2 crore, we calculated, and we were smart enough to do that calculation, that even if we invest in our health, it can cover our 167 years of life. So हमने अपने घर में एक डिसीजन ले लिया. We didn't have the smart LED TVs for a pretty long time in our house, but we never ran out of any month. And I'm like so restless कि वो एक नहीं रहेगा, 2-3 बॉटल रहेगा. What if some logistics curfew go and I don't get my supplements on time? So that's part 1. Part 2, it's not 7 years. हमारे घर में जिस दिन बच्चे का अन्नप्राशन होता है, उसी दिन उसका न्यूट्रलाइट प्राशन हो जाता है. So the rule is very simple. अगर आप एक बच्चे को अन्न दे सकते हो, so this is also extracts, the nutritional extracts of fruits and vegetables and food. So the rule is very simple. जिस दिन अन्न प्राशन होगा, उस दिन प्रोटीन प्राशन हो जाएगा, उस दिन मल्टीविटामिन प्राशन हो जाएगा, उस दिन ओमेगा 3 फैटी एसिड्स प्राशन हो जाएगा. So that's how the kids are.
Wow. That's what you call being sure and knowing what you're doing. Because all 4 of us sitting here, I think the closest that we are is to our husband, our wife, our kids, our family. And if we are giving our own family supplementation by, kilos and kilos, that goes to speak that if we are recommending it to you, we know what we are talking about. And like, Farooq says, withdrawal symptoms करने हैं तो वड़ा पाव के withdrawal symptoms करो, that's good. Withdrawal symptoms तो गुलाब जामुन के भी होंगे और जलेबी के भी होंगे. न्यूट्रलाइट के withdrawal symptoms नहीं होंगे, because न्यूट्रलाइट आपको उससे withdraw करने की जरूरत नहीं है. That's food. That's something that you need to have for the rest of your life. Because it's like Raj rightly said, it's bridging the gap between the nutrition that your body needs and the nutrition that you're putting it through. And I thought you'd like to say something?
Yeah. So Raj is talking about children, as in छोटे से born होने से पहले. I'm talking about the other end. Dad turned 90, and the amount of Nutrilite my dad has, I'm telling you, he is some more particular about every single bit of Nutrilite that he takes than we are. Okay, he makes sure, as Raj says, 2 bottle तो घर में होना ही है, just in case नहीं आवी तो. So he's so particular. So it's there in all our families. My sister with her babies, tiny babies, she was feeding them a protein powder and that kids what kids powder, I think, what something they used to have. So she used to just put little milk in it, make a paste, and she used to just put it on their tongues. I mean, she used to feed them Nutrilite from that tiny, हाथ में बच्चे लोग को. So I think all our families have benefited from this, and it just goes to show how much we actually care for everybody, because Nutrilite is the ultimate, I would say.
Yeah. So if you're breathing, you need to be on Nutrilite, is as simple as that for all.
Totally.
Great. Coming to you, Veda, as far as Nutrilite is concerned, yes, your understanding of the subject is huge, and you would take it. You have 2 young teenage daughters, and I remember the elder one was also a part of this program initially, and she saw some phenomenal results. How easy or difficult was it to, because teenagers usually have a mindset of their own, and they would probably resist having it. How easy or difficult was it for you to put them onto the supplementation program?
Okay, so yes, yeah, my elder one was also my running partner during the whole health transformation. And because we were doing it together, and actually, it wasn't just thopofied on me, literally, because Raj actually sat and explained the first time he explained protein, what is protein, the amino acids and all of this. And I was like looking at him, boss, हम लोग जैन कॉलेज से आए हैं, इसमें कुछ ऐसे कुछ सिखाया ही नहीं था. How do you know so much, obviously. So it came with the right information. Why? And then, actually showing me that these are organic stuff that you're going to be taking. I started taking it. My parents eventually also, I started giving it to my parents. And later on, of course, my daughters were seeing this and they heard about it and all of that. And now the whole family is taking it, and my daughters know exactly each supplement kiske liye hai. It's not that I'm just giving them. They know what is each one for, and they recognize even with just the colors. Like मैं निकाल के दे देती हूँ. So with the color, ये कौन सा है, they know that. And even if someone of their friends actually are having certain issues, they tell me, I think if she starts taking protein, she'll get better. So that whole, the whole, I think the culture of understanding nutrition has come because of Nutrilite. And they've seen that my medication has lowered because of Nutrilite. Because earlier, the number of medicines that I was taking for depression, for anxiety, for my allergy was much higher, and it has gone down drastically. As I said, it's a journey. We never tell anyone to stop their medicines from day one. We tell them, we look at the parameters and tell them to reduce. So that conviction, because we are following as adults, our children look at us leading, and the transformation, easily they say the transformation cannot happen otherwise. And it can't, see, transformation can happen, it cannot sustain if you're not on the right stuff. That's the end.
Fantastic. So I think that was absolutely thoroughly insightful, ranging from a, annaprashan of a young toddler to a 90-year-old gentleman, from teenagers to middle-aged people. Thank you for that insight, Anita. I think hearing it from somebody who has gone through that most crucial, tough, and emotionally, taking a toll journey twice, I think it should give a lot of conviction and faith to people who are with us on this program to understand the essence of Nutrilite. Thank you, Raj, because, I always maintain this, that, if you are recommending something or if you're giving something to your own child, then you can give it to anybody in the world, because आप like Farooq says कि आप सारी दुनिया को बेवकूफ बना सकते हो, आप अपनी फैमिली के लिए कभी भी ये चीज नहीं करोगे. And thank you, Veda, because looking at you, I can, win any conversation with any IT professional who's probably working 12 to 16 hours a day, giving me all sorts of probably his or her reasons or excuses that why they can't be on this program, why they can't be reporting. You guys are living examples of doing it, staying the course, completing it, sustaining it, maintaining the whole health program for yourself and your family against every possible odd. So thanks to each one of you for your insights, for your feedbacks, for your inputs. I don't think we have questions today, so we like to wrap up this phenomenal evening. We look forward to meeting you all on the next session on Monday. And till then, you stay safe and take care, guys.
Thank you, Deepika.
Night,
Bye.
everybody.